Before I present the distinguished young speaker, I would like to share some of the thoughts of some management pundits. We have seen a brilliant presentation of where we can go. But the key thing remains, how do you get there? And that's the key question. And the way the things are changing today, we can't even dream of. Even crystal ball gazing is becoming a risky. I give you just one example. Before, about 10 years ago, who thought that there will be internet? And that will change the total scenario of business and our life. And at that time, if someone used to do the crystal ball gazing, perhaps he would have come to a different sort of scenario. Now, for peeping into the future, let's see what the management pundits are saying. I will just quote a few of them. You all know, perhaps you have read Charles Andy, the business philosopher. Charles Andy says, you can't look at the future as a continuation of the past, because the future is going to be always different and unpredictable. And we really have to unlearn the way we dealt with the past in order to deal with the future. That's Charles Andy. You have all read the various writings of Peter Senge, and he is a renowned faculty member at the MIT. Peter Senge says we have to stop trying to figure out what to do by looking at what we have done. I quote another management pundit whom you all have heard, if not have seen, is Michael Hammer, the originator of the concept of business process reengineering. Michael Hammer says, if you think you are good, you are dead. Success in the past has no implication for success in future. The formulas for yesterday's success are almost guaranteed to be formulas for failure tomorrow. The last one I will quote, a fellow Indian whom you have heard well, C.K. Prahlad. Professor Prahlad says, if you want to escape the gravitational pull of the past, you have to be willing to challenge your own orthodoxies. This is essential to regenerate your core strategies and to rethink your most fundamental assumptions about how you are going to compete. So, about the future. All these management pundits, they have one thing in common. And let me summarize the points which are in common. All the management pundits say that if we want to look to the future, one thing that we must believe, that the road of today stops here, now. They also believe that future will not be a continuation of the past. We have seen one phenomenon like internet. There may be many such phenomena in future. Market becomes more and more complex and interdependent. We shall not be able to operate alone. We'll have to depend on so many agencies. Change becomes increasingly non-linear. So it may not so happen that if you do A, B will happen, and if you do C, then D will happen. Now A may take us to E, and that's the discontinuation. And there perhaps the crystal ball gazing may not help us. So how have they defined the winners of the future? The common thing that they have said, and here I am quoting from Charles Andy, he says that winners will be those who stay ahead of the change curve. We should not look at the change curve and start riding on the change curve and try to get ourselves adopted. We should be ahead of the change curve. We should start to redefine the industry wherever we are. We are in pharmaceutical industry constantly because the industry is changing. We should try to create new markets as future will unfold. In fact, what we are trying to do, we are trying to bring future closer to us. And if we can do that, we will be successful. Now, new markets, there should be, as the business grows, there should be new areas of profit. The old areas of profit will be there, may not be there, but we should create new areas of profit. We should try to chart, try to travel on uncharted frontier, which will help us to blaze new trails, the trace of which is not there today. We are all in the midst of competitive rules. The same rules will not hold good tomorrow. So we must reinvent the competitive rules. And we must challenge the status quo. And the final line that Charles Andy says, the winners will be those in future who invent the world, not those who respond to changes. Thank you. With that comment, I have the privilege to introduce the distinguished young speaker, who is a director from Elder Pharmaceuticals. He's handling marketing, but he's a medic. He's very young with 32 years, and he got his MBBS degree from Grant Medical College. He is working with elders for 9 years, and he is taking the marketing of Elder Pharmaceuticals surging ahead. So I now hand over to Mrs. Saxena.
Good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me here. It's an honor to be here among such a distinguished gathering. I really don't think I fit the bill with all the stalwarts out here of the industry, but I'm glad, and I hope I can, looking at all my peers, hopefully one day rise to be what they are today. Well, my topic for today is need for broader scientific interaction with customers, dynamics of prescription behavior. Being a medical doctor and handling marketing, it gives me some sort of an advantage to know exactly what doctors are looking for and what they expect. And having been a doctor myself and having worked for 5 years, studied in Grant Medical and JJ Hospital, I've had the opportunity while studying to deal with medical representatives, and somehow I can place myself on both sides of the fences to know exactly what doctors want today and what they expect from the pharmaceutical industry and the people in general. I try to keep my speech short, the talk short, because I think it's, as Mr. Pal said, we're running short of time. It's lunch in a couple of minutes, and I'm hungry as well, so I won't speak long. Well, I think the first slide itself is debatable because we don't know itself whether 2000 is the last year of the last century or the first year of the new century. I'm sure that in December 2000 we will be debating again that the new millennium is actually here now. So the Y2K bug may start in 2000 end instead of 99 end. Well, moving towards the last year of the 20th century, the main question that comes to mind is whether the next century will be different. The answer is yes. Today, the current hype in technology is internet. As Mr. Ray said, the internet is the biggest phenomenon that's happened in the last few years. Today, websites, internet, emails, communication has become so simple that information is available to everybody at the click of a mouse. The internet is more than a platform on which to purge traditional materials. Today in India itself, we expect that the number of internet users will touch more than 4.5 million by December 2000. Most of the information may be free on the internet, but it's hard to believe that the most valuable stuff is also free. Today the information, next please. Sorry, here's that. Okay. Today the doctors can get information on the fingertip on any molecule through the internet. Gone are the days when doctors had to wholly depend on the representatives and medical journals for the latest development and research. They can visit any site of any organization, of any molecule, of anything they want in the world and have the latest on that product, on the company, on the information they require. They are free to choose from various options available, but the question that arises is how many doctors and how many people have an access to this facility. Rural India is still in stages of development. Can we expect that this technology will be available in villages who today even do not have proper medical aid? But the question that arises is, success is about thinking in uncommon ways, looking for areas that others have not yet seen. In the information age, it is knowing that makes or breaks. We have stepped into the new millennium with smiling faces and a lot of promises. The growth of the pharma industry has only just begun, and the millennium will be the launch pad. The slogan of the government is health for all by 2000. We're already in the year 2000, and we have far from achieved the objectives that were set by us. General awareness has increased amongst people. People are aware of the diseases, People are aware of the diseases, the causes. They're exploring different options available to them, of both treatment and the drugs available. Gone are the days when the people and the patient had to depend only on doctors for the information of the disorders. The time has come when patients have started asking, why? Why are you prescribing this drug? What is wrong with me? Why don't I have another option available? Information channels are playing a vital role in spreading health awareness. Today, audio channels, audio-video channels, print channels. There have been many more and more news through even the radio about hygiene, common illness, and the options available for us to maintain our health. Television media has been promoting health awareness in a big way. Simple example today available to the industry is the Pulse Polio campaign, the AIDS awareness, the tuberculosis campaign, and more recently of interest to everybody, the osteoporosis and hormone replacement therapy, which in the last few years has gained a lot of importance and brought about awareness in the people. Next please. News media is a powerful awareness tool. They say that the pen is mightier than the sword. This wider pool of knowledge can be further strengthened and expanded by various symposia, congresses that are held. On this common platform, sharing of information takes place where new therapies are discussed and also new molecules are debated. Some symposia and congresses are a platform for direct interactive sessions between the patients, the doctor, and the pharma industry. The symposia not only boost the health awareness, but also promote the confidence between the doctors, the patients, and the industry. But some information about this will be available to everybody. Next, please. The pharmaceutical industry will see major changes in the next few years. Registration of product patents, duration of patent protection, under patent 20 years, product and process patent coexisting, which itself will result in significant changes in the pharmaceutical industry in India at large. The Consumer Forum has become a strong platform and is constantly educating patients of their rights. The latest concept of medical insurance is gaining ground, and more people are opting for medical insurance. There is an increasing support by the insurance companies to make this available to the lay public in general. There has been a tremendous amount of development and participation of healthcare centers and hospitals. The public is gaining awareness of the rights and have the power to, even if required, sue the doctors for negligence. All this will first and foremost result in an increase in drug prices. There's already an influx of foreign and multinational companies as the economy opens up. A boost in R&D will result in quality research. There's already, India is said to be the 4th strictest country in terms of registration of new molecules and clinical trials. In short, what does all this mean? The pharma in the business needs a wider pool of knowledge. They say, the knowledge should not be used as a drunk uses a lamppost for support, but rather for illumination. At the end of the day, the medical representatives are in fact the business executives of the pharma industry. They are more than just a selling arm. They are the people who reflect the image of the organization. They are the direct links between the pharma company and the consumers. Today, consumer sensitivity is the nucleus of business. Next please. Detailing today is dynamic. Detailing needs to be combined with dialogue. Detailing is a human experience, whereas downloading of information available from the net is not one. One of the most important tools and the most conventional tools available to make the doctors aware of the product, to detail to them about what we are promoting, is the visual aid. But as we said, in the new age, the laptop is becoming a very acceptable and rather utilized form of promoting the products. To further strengthen the skills of the representatives, training should have prime importance, because with the development being an ongoing process in the life of most people. Effective communication, in the end, is the most important factor that leads to prescription generation. Next please. Today, given the fact that a lot of products are getting an OTC profile, and with this information available, the need for effective communication will eventually lead to prescription generation from the doctors. Prescription generation today is more than just a statistical calculation of the number of prescriptions the doctor gives. It reflects conviction of the molecule, interaction with the representative, the quality of the product, the scientific and technological know-how, the dosage, the packaging, and at the end of the day, it entirely results in the brand. Brand equity is dynamic. It is not like a sculpture, which once made has its appeal forever. At the end, I would like to summarize my presentation by saying that today business is a game of mind versus mind. It is up to us people, it is up to the pharmaceutical companies to present the doctors what best we can. It reflects what we come from, it reflects our involvement, it reflects our conviction in presenting the best health options available to the Indian public. And given the status that everybody is aware, technology, websites, internet, e-commerce, everything, today consumers are aware of the rights and their options, and they need to know what they're getting. The options available to them today are fantastic. They have a choice to choose from various multitude of drugs, but at the end of the day, it is the scientific communication, it is how we present our products and our companies that will make all the difference. Thank you very much. I hope it wasn't too long.
marketing. Having started his career on the grassroots levels and risen to the top of the management post, he is well versed with all aspects relating to pharmaceutical manufacturing and marketing. He has proved this by successfully launching 2 companies, and one of these has been established in 15 states with a field staff of over 260 people and a turnover of over $2.2 million, I suppose $2.2 million in the 4th year. The credit goes to him as he was involved in all decisions right from selection of product, appointment of field personnel, appointment of distributors, stockists, and training, and all other important decisions. He also has a knowledge of financial management and can handle the financial problems easily. He is a very well-known person and has valuable links all over the country. May I request you to join me in welcoming Mr. Vikram Iyer.
Organizers, Mr. Ravinder Pal, ladies and gentlemen. The subject which I am going to speak on is challenges facing the niche pharma players in the post-GATT era. Next. As you all know, today the pharma industry is identified as one of the golden sectors besides information technology and fast-moving consumer goods industries in India. Next. The current boom in share prices of pharma majors is the indicator. Also, as per the survey report in Economic Times dated 19th November 1999, 30 pharma companies feature among the top 500 companies in India. Ranbaxy, the Indian multinational, is at number 8 behind Infosys. The present scenario is pleasant, but what is the future going to look like once India gives recognition to Dunkel's draft? Instead of going further into the present scenario, we'll first take a look into the past. The patent system was first introduced in India in 1856. The Act of 1856 provided exclusive rights to the patent holder for a period of 14 years. The Indian Patents and Design Act 1911 replaced the 1856 Act, but the main clauses remained the same. Post-independence in 1947, a need was felt to revamp the laws related to patents so as to reduce the stronghold of MNCs and provide an impetus to local industrial growth. In 1947, since India gained independence, the Indian pharma industry has witnessed a sea of changes and has evolved significantly since then. Initially, the MNCs had a near monopoly. They were importing and marketing formulations in India, which were mainly low-cost generics for the masses and also a few specialties, life-saving, high-priced products. The government increased the pressure against the import of formulations. MNCs were forced to set up formulation units, but raw materials were still being imported. In the 60s, the Indian government laid the foundation of the domestic pharmaceutical industry by promoting Hindustan Antibiotics Limited and the Indian Drugs and Pharmaceutical Limited for manufacture of bulk drugs. However, the MNCs maintained a lead due to the backing of their global R&D. The high cost involved in the basic research deterred the Indian companies in the private sector. In 1970 was a revolutionary year. The Indian Patent Act was introduced after considerable efforts went into its formulating.
it was finally enacted from 20th April 1972. This has been the single most important factor to spur the domestic pharma industry. The basic philosophy has been to disallow monopoly, encourage research and help in overall growth in the pharma and the agro sectors. Looking at the effects of the Indian Patents Act on the Indian pharma sector, process modification to develop bulk drugs was far easier for the local players. As a result, there was an influx of domestic manufacturers who first started making bulk drugs and then progressed to formulations. The advantage with the domestic companies was that they could have a product mix from a wide range of formulations, whereas the MNCs had to stick to their parent company's product portfolio. Indian Patent Act helped the Indian manufacturers in two ways. The manufacturing cost reduced and so the prices of the medicines. Also, the local manufacturers did not have to pay royalty on the reversed engineered drugs. The Drug Price Control Order was also introduced in 1970 by the Indian government. This effectively put the ceiling on prices of certain mass usage, bulk drugs and their formulation so as to prevent any undue profiteering. This further deterred the MNCs from marketing their products at a much reduced prices as compared to the international price, as this would have meant global repercussions and possible uproar in their home countries. MNCs curtailed new product launches, giving further scope to Indian pharma companies. In the late 70s, FERA was introduced. MNCs were compelled to reduce holding in their Indian ventures to 40%, else comply with the export obligations to retain maximum 51% stake. As a result, some MNCs preferred to stay out of the Indian domestic marketing. This further strengthened the position of local pharma companies. The present scenario speaks of something else. The total Indian market is approximately worth rupees 17,000 crores, growing at a rate of 13% annually. The market share of MNC has fallen drastically from 75% in 1971 to around 35% presently. The share of Indian companies has increased from 20% in 1971 to nearly 65%. Public sector undertakings have lost out completely. In the domestic market, around 83% is formulation and 17% is bulk drugs. In the bulk drug section, over 60% is exported and the balance is sold to the local consumers. In the formulation, more than 85% of production is sold in the domestic market, and India is self-sufficient in case of formulations. Next. In export, domestic companies have advantage over MNCs. Process patents give freedom to manufacture MNCs patented products. This enables wide therapeutic reach, low manufacturing costs, no restriction on export market by the parent MNCs. Overall, the MNCs are at a disadvantage compared to local Indian companies. The reasons are limitation to parent companies' product portfolio, lack of freedom to reverse engineer at any other MNC's products, higher DPCO coverage due to a more mature product range, parent companies' reluctance to launch new products due to absence of patent protection and threat of process piracy. Compulsion to price the product lower in India as compared to other countries. Lack of export opportunities due to parent global presence. High cost of manufacturing due to parent companies insistent on stricter compliance of GMP. Looking at it closely, the focus of the Indian companies in the pre-GATT era has revolved primarily around marketing and sales only. The result has been in the dominance of the domestic pharma market by the Indian companies. But in the process, R&D got neglected. Partly it was because of the heavy investments required for R&D. The result is a huge but fragmented market. In most of the therapeutic segments, there are many players and multiple brands. Very soon, the scenario is going to change significantly. India will grant product patent recognition to all new chemical entities, that is bulk drugs, developed and patented from then onwards. The change agents would be GATT and TRIPS, intellectual property rights and exclusive marketing rights. These are going to put many challenges in front of the Indian companies. Many new companies overseas would be coming to Indian market. These are the challenges what we will be facing post 2000 era. There would be aggressive launching of unique high potential molecules by the MNCs in various therapeutic segments. There will be very stiff competition in specific therapeutic categories. Maintaining and increasing their market share can become difficult for the Indian companies. But the biggest threat is going to be the drugs patented in 2005 and onwards. With the process patents getting replaced by the product patents, the MNCs will be able to freely introduce new top-to-line products in India. These are expected to be priced at a significant premium price in line with the MNC's global policy of earning returns on their R&D investments. So within the therapeutic segment, the masses will still continue to resort to older, less efficient and cheaper medicines. Thus, the new launches by MNC will be high margin but low volume products, and these will be mostly imported from overseas basis and only marketed in India. The basic question in front of Indian companies is how to meet these challenges. The first thing is to increase the knowledge base, as it is becoming clear day by day that knowledge is the power. Then capitalize on existing ALL brands. Also put extra efforts and intensify brand building with maximum number of products. One of the options is also to launch new niche products in collaboration with overseas firms. Another thing to be done is to accelerate technology transfer to India through licensing, collaboration and co-development. One of the important things is to create new innovative products protected from the exposure to competition. Also acquire brands from relatively smaller players to consolidate market standing. In order to get larger market share, enhance exports with the non-regulated products. Yet another option would be is to selectively expedite new product launches in high growth segments. The company's respective rank can be strengthened by restructuring and consolidating with a focus on the core business. The operational options are in downsizing, cost cutting, and increasing productivity. But the most important thing to be done, keeping the long-term prospects in mind, is to put special emphasis on increasing the R&D base and in developing new drugs. For this, either R&D centers can be set up or research can be outsourced to a contract research organization. Today, the burning topic everywhere is, will Indian companies go out of business in the post-2005 era? Certainly not. However, the companies will have to prepare themselves and become more competent to fight the MNCs in the era of patent production. Next, the transition phase from pre-GATT to post-GATT has already set in. The Indian companies are expediting selective new product launches. Restructuring and consolidation has started with a focus on core business. The companies are also looking at brand acquisition opportunities. Mergers and takeovers are the in things. Companies are looking for marketing tie-ups with overseas firms not having a base in India. Efforts are on to build brands and corner a larger domestic formulation market. Companies are also considering the option of acquiring exclusive marketing rights for the niche products from overseas companions. Next. The advantages, most importantly, the Indian companies are trying to enter into research tie-ups with the MNCs as contract research organization. The advantages are relatively low cost, efficient, skill base of trained pharmacists and chemists in India. With the coming of GATT in 2005, the till now protected Indian companies would have to stand up to international laws and stringent measures. The fighting tools will be technology and competence. Indian companies will have to reinvent themselves to transform their very existence. And the mantra, ultimately, the game is all about winning. And winning is about leadership. And the heart of leadership is made to beat with the ideas. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ahmad, may I request Mr. Brahma? We will break for lunch at this point of time, and the one session which was due to be before lunch of emergency Sam will be after lunch. Thank you.
you.